Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. So I've jumped on today because I want to do a little project to make some ephemera for a journal that I'm doing and future journals. Why not? So I have this Stampin' Up stamp pad. Now all my Stampin' Up stamps I have gotten second hand. I know that lovely Jeanette, who is Crafty Dork, did give me some sets, quite a few sets actually, which I very much appreciate. I think I might have found this one on Marketplace in one of the craft room clear out groups that I'm in, and I thought it looked really interesting, being like washi tape. So I thought that it would be great to stamp some washi tape in various colours that I can use as embellishments for tags and journal cards and that sort of thing. So I thought I'd jump on and we'd do that together. So I've got my black Ranger archival ink. I know that will be wonderful, and I might do some in black for some vintage style projects. But I've also grabbed out my Poppy Craft archival inks. I grabbed a pile of these when they were on sale. So far, I don't think too much of them actually. They don't seem to work the best for me. But I thought I would pull them out and would have a go with them for this project and see how they go, because I do have a range of colours here. So we'll give those a go. If they don't do very well, then I will grab out some of my other archival inks. But I want a bigger stamp pad, so we'll try those. And then to stamp them on, I've got the usual old book pages, and I thought I'd grab some of my packaging tissue paper, because I've collected a bit of this, as we all do. And I think that might be nice to stamp it on and use in some mixed media projects and on tags and that. So we'll have a go with that. I have my latte at the ready. If you watched one of my previous videos, it was probably my Witchcraft Do You Do unboxing, I think. I told you, I fessed up to the fact that I accidentally poured the sachet of latte into my cup of nuts one day when I was making a latte and getting myself a cup of nuts. And it made the nuts taste wonderful, but oh, did I feel like a doofus after that. Yeah. Anyway, funny story. I've got another one for you before we get started. So this one night I'm going to go to bed and I go to use my nose inhaler. I do get sinus problems, especially in the winter with the cold air and that. So it wasn't until the lip balm hit my nose that I realised I had picked up and tried to use the wrong one. So I had a nice giggle at myself. You know, I knew that was going to happen one day. I put the lip balm down, I grab the nose inhaler and then promptly go to put it on my lips. So there you go. I'm doing well. So I've grabbed my precision stamp press too. I'll give this a go. I don't use it enough, I don't think. And I thought that this might be great for this project because... I'll turn it that way, I think, because I should be able to just put all the stamps in it and do one colour at a time and get all the different designs. Could even leave that like that, couldn't I? But no, we won't. Let's see whether they stick. Got a funny feeling these aren't even going to stick. Alright, got to remember how to use this. So we'll grab a book page, grab one of my smaller ones. It's not much smaller, is it? And then we can line our stamps up where we'd like to stamp them. Alright, so we should magnetise our book page down. That shall do. And then let's see if we can pick them up. see how long they stick for. I've got a funny feeling they're not going to stick for long and I'll have to do it by hand, and that is all right. Okay, so we'll start with the first colour. Let's try this funky green. The beauty of using the press is if I don't get proper coverage, I can go over them again in the same spot. Definitely juicy enough, this pad, which is a good start. Give them a good press down. That's not too bad. Oh, I'm quite happy with that. Ripper reader. Okay, so we can take that page off. Can always add some more by hand afterwards to fill in my page. Yeah, I think that's quite good. Doesn't matter if it's not solid. I could make it solid by going over the stamps again, but I quite like that. It's a bit more vintage-esque. Now, I want to do the tissue paper as well, so I think we'll stick with the same colour and give this a go. Just chop some of it off. Now I'll have to deal with the wrinkles on this. Not sure if it's going to seep through. I probably could put some paper in the background, but I can just wipe my board off. All right, let's see how we go with this. Make sure I've got the position. All right. That should be all right. I'll go in again with that green. Yeah, so the cold air, my nose just runs non-stop. Get bad sinuses. It's annoying. And then you've got to have the heater on so it dries everything out. The joys of winter. It is a nice time to put the heater on though and veg out in the craft room. Okay. Oh yeah, that is great actually. Very happy with the way that's come out. Nice and bright, isn't it? So we'll put that to the side. I'll wipe down my stamps and we will do the next colour. So I've finished my stamping for now, and that was so much fun. So this is the Stampin' Up! Tape It set of stamps. Very cool. Very glad I got this. And I was nicely surprised using my Poppycraft ink pads because they give you sort of the distressed look on the paper. I could have, of course, gone over them again and again with my precision platform to get a more solid design. But I do want these ones to look vintage anyway. That's why I put them on the book page. So we'll have a look at what we've got there. And doing them all at once made it a lot quicker and easier to get a pile ready for future journals. That's the pink, which is very light. But yes, I think the best way of using those ink pads is going to be on the tissue paper. Now that's a pink again. It is very light. It's hard for me to tell which is the right side, which I'm sure it is with all of these with the tissue paper. And it did seep through onto my platform, so I did wipe that down in between colours. But they turned out so nice. So I was very happy using those inks for this, and I think I will keep them to do this with. I did initially purchase them to use on fabrics. Some of them work really well and some of them are so juicy they just bleed too much into the fabric and that. So, but yeah, this seemed to work very nicely with them. I think they are going to be great to have at hand when I'm making tags and journal cards, and such a cool way to use up this old tissue paper. So I think what we'll do is make a tag or something and try a bit of each and see how it works out. Just wanted to show you these two wet wipes that I use to wipe off my stamps and platform. They're absolutely beautiful, and so I'm going to be using those in future projects. So I'm just cutting out some of the collage sheet here from Joey. And then I will cut out a few bits of my washi strips. I've chosen the orange and the blue ones, and I just want to cut a few out so I can see what I think is going to go with the page and the pocket. I'm using the ones that I have stamped onto the book page first. And I have a date there that I got from a book that I want to put on the front of my pocket. So when you die cut the pockets, they've got this label as well that you can fit on the front if you want. So I want to use that to put my date on. So I just need to cut my date down so it fits nicely. Have a hole punch there. It's also a corner punch. It's a 4-in-1, and I want to use the elongated hole. I'm trying to figure out where I need to punch it. Then I realise it might be best to make a little mark that I can see through the bottom of my punch so that I punch both the holes where I want them. I probably should have done a line instead of a dot because I end up punching one of them a bit crooked, but that is okay. So I'll stick my date on now. So I'm just making sure to ink around everything. So with this piece that I got from the collage sheet, I want to cut that down to put underneath my label on the front of my pocket, just to add a bit more beautiful colour. So I cut the little stripes off of. I was debating whether to leave one of the stripes on, but I decided to cut them off. Just putting it up against the pocket so I can make some marks measuring how big I need to cut it. Using my mat so I can rule some lines so I can try and cut it straight for a change. And apparently that didn't work because it's not straight. I have to straighten it up a little bit. So I decide on that blue bit of washi that I stamped, and I just ripped one of the ends to make it look a bit more like ripped washi. And I'm going to layer that underneath my label. So I'm just using my Halmar tacky glue to stick all of these down. And I rifled through my scrap ribbons. Yeah, shout out to Pam from Just Adelaide. She once sent me a big package with every single colour of scrap ribbon that she must have ever had. And they come in so handy, so I found a colour of orange that I thought would go nicely on my page. And I'm just putting that through the holes, and I stick the back down to the back of the label there so it doesn't move around, so I can get the position all right. Then just covering the back of the label with my glue to stick down to my pocket. And then I'll fold the ribbons around the back. Just tacking them down at the front so they sit where I want. So I do chop them a bit shorter because I don't want these to impede on my ability to slip tags and that in and out of the pocket. And then I fold them over to stick them down. Then I have this tiny little bit of washi that I ripped off the end, and for some reason I really wanted to use that on here, so decided to add it up into the top corner just to add a bit of colour up there as well. And that is my pocket done for now. So now I want to use my tissue paper washi, so I'm cutting out a picture of these groovy ladies from the collage sheet. Just seeing how they look on the tags, I decided to get a bit of a bigger tag for them. And then I thought they'd probably look better if I fussy cut them for this project. Using my matte medium here just to put some onto my tag, which I will then press my tissue paper into. And then I'll matte medium over the top to try and make it more translucent. It was looking pretty good, but then I go over it again and the colour starts shifting. I'm not sure if it just wasn't dry enough. Still looks really neat. So I've added one of those coloured strips to the bottom of my tag. I forgot to turn my camera on. Just inking around my ladies. And I will stick them down on my tag as well. So very simple tag, but I wanted to see how it would work with the washi, and I really loved the way it turned out. I'll just use my ink to go over the tag a bit just to grunge it up. And I grab my number and letter stamps and just do some stamping of those in some blue ink. They're quite wet, so I just dab them with the tissue and that lightens them up a little bit, helps them dry a bit quicker. Then I grab some more of my scrap ribbon. I've got a pink on there. I'm just grunging that up a bit with my ink. And I'll attach that as the topper for my tag. So that was a fun crafty session, and I ended up making these two pieces and used the washi pieces that we stamped. So I've got this Tim Holtz stitch slots pocket. I did double it up and I didn't get all the bits evenly together, but that's all right. And I want to use that in the journal that I'm making with Joey Cardmaker's kit, the groovy retro 60s kit. So I've got some of the dates out of a book for the 60s, which I'll be using throughout this journal, and I thought it'd be nice to use those on the slots. And I'll put some ephemera that I have here out of books and that refers to the 60s in that pocket. And then I thought I'd whip up a quick tag and try out my faux washi that was on the tissue paper. Now, it didn't go as see-through as I thought it might, and the ink did run a bit. I wasn't sure about that because I know with my Ranger archival that doesn't tend to run, although I will have to test out what I have stamped on the tissue paper. It could still be drying a little bit too, so I will have to experiment more with that. Be a bit neater probably if I rip the edges, it might blend in a bit better too, but I wanted straight edges on this. Still love the way it turned out. Some of the colour did go around the outside a little bit, but I don't mind that. I just inked up and it's a little bent and creased and that, and I like that because if this is a journal from the 60s, that's, you know, things would look aged and a bit warped and that. So I inked the ribbon as well. And I used the picture of the ladies, and the little background piece on my pocket were out of Joey's collage kit, I'm pretty sure, and that is a freebie on his Ko-fi, and it marries perfectly with his 60s groovy kit. So it's a lot of fun to play with all these bits you can cut out and use or tear. And then I just did some stamping on it with my number and letter stamps. I just wanted to add a bit of blue and help cover up the little bits and pieces I got in my matte medium when I was spreading colour everywhere. But yeah, I really like that. It looks nice and aged, and I love the pocket. And you saw that I added a bit of my ribbon to that just to get some of the groovy colours into it. And I love the washi on that as well. So that was a lot of fun making that. I've got piles now that I can use throughout this journal and for other journals in the future, and for just doing my day-to-day collaging as well. I think they'll be heaps of fun. So I hope you enjoyed that and it gave you some ideas to use some of your old tissue paper. I've been using a bit of it lately, which has been a lot of fun. So do take care of yourself. I will link I'll link Joey's kit down below. Go and check it out. Absolutely love that one. He's got some awesome kits and he's a lovely gentleman. So, and I'll link his YouTube as well, because he does show his kits when he brings them out. So be good, and I will see you again soon. Bye.